A reading from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 13, beginning at verse 31. He put before them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed that someone took and sowed in his field. It is the smallest of all the seeds, but when it has grown, it is the greatest of shrubs and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and make nests in its branches. He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed in with 3 measures of flour until all of it was leavened. Jesus told the crowds all these things in parables. Without a parable he told them nothing. This was to fulfill what had been spoken through the prophet. I will open my mouth to speak in parables. I will proclaim what has been hidden from the foundation of the world. A week ago, my family and I visited the pretty hamlet of Wycolla in Trawden Forest in Pendle, Lancashire, an area famed for its association with the Bronte sisters, and we soon discovered that it's also home to the Trawden Forest fairies. For the trees alongside the path into the village provide homes to the fairies. And we know this by the tiny fairy doors that can be spotted in the small spaces left where branches used to be. So our leisurely country walk soon turned into a game of spot the fairy door, and it helped keep our 2-year-old granddaughter occupied. And yes, wherever possible, she knocked on each fairy door to see if anyone was in. Each of the doors are handmade to fit each individual tree, with most of the doors being 3 to 4 inches high. It must have taken forever to create. Well, I guess the fairies have the time and the patience to create these things, and they do so in the hope it brings joy to whoever finds them and knocks on the door. But it did leave me thinking, how do you begin to measure the stature of a tree? Where and how do you begin to measure its girth and its height? Should you measure it in feet and inches, or centimetres and metres? Jesus rarely measured anything quantitatively. For him, it was all about quality. For Jesus, the stature of a mustard tree is quite clearly measured by its ability to host nesting birds. It will give them a place to be safe, to raise their young, and a place to fly home to. But it will take time to grow. If that is what the kingdom of God is like, and the church is in some way a sign of it, then we can be the kind of church whose stature is measured not by the number who attend, nor by the amount of money in the collection, good and helpful those things are, but by our ability to provide an environment that is safe, that is nurturing, in which people can feel at home. For the church is you and it's me. The church is love and welcome that is shared within it. The church is the place in which we come and discover our own place within the story, where we come and discover that we are valuable and of worth. In essence, for Jesus, the kingdom of God is about hospitality. And that's maybe why after the mustard seed, Jesus goes on to talk about yeast, the stature of which is measured by its ability to raise a whole loaf, a loaf which can then be broken and shared with friends and strangers alike, for all are welcome.